everybody. NC4XL, North Carolina for Extreme Lovers. I'm not. Just Dom, the darling old man. We have an awful lot of fantastic new hunters coming about. And one of the things I'd like to share with you new hunters, uh, when you hear multiple ops, most people go into paranoid mode, it seems like. After you get used to the different activators, you'll find that several of them will be a husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, family members, etc. And you will hear one party making the calls in both ops or both parks, and they'll give the park information. Please check the spotting page, because the spotting page generally is going to give you the information also, so that you don't have to ask. Now, please don't be offended by me saying that, so that you don't have to ask. But generally speaking, when you have multiple ops running a park or parks, you're going to hear that. And as a hunter, you should be logged in both parks, whether you got them logged in on your computer at your house or on paper, etc. Now, for those activators that are working park to parks and there's two ops, most of us, not all of us, most of us are going to slam the brakes on a moment and let all parties work each different operator there instead of saying both ops at both parks, okay? That is how most of us do it this way. New folks, you get a little upset. Sometimes you'll hear it where, what's your call? If you use the spotting page, it's very helpful. But you will have a couple different calls. And again, most of us, when we recognize somebody that's new, not familiar with how we work, are going to hand it over to the other op, or we'll say second op or next op. Okay, when you have additional operators in the park or parks, that's additional contacts for you as the hunter. And for you as the hunter activator, that means you're in a park and you have one or two or three or however many parks you have. And you may have one, two, or three, or however many activators you have. And if the activator you're working is familiar with your group, your family, the trip, the rove by that group, and saying and all four, knowing who the all four is already. Again, in the spotting page as an activator, they generally will spot the information of all the activators or operators, correction, of all the operators that are running that park at that time where they're at. And they may put the second or third parks also. So a lot of times when you hear a big pile up, it's probably faster if you go to the spotting page and look it up, and the little green icon at the very bottom of their spot, that little green icon says history. If you click on that, you can get a lot of information there too. We appreciate you hunters that work us and realize that when we have multiple ops or at multiple parks, that sometimes you don't expect every activator or operator to work every party when it's known that we are legitimately there. There are families of four and or more where all four are there, and many times over you will see the family members switch those parties to call the activators so that other folks that are listening will realize that that's what's going on. That's our general acceptable practices of most of us. There's always going to be a bad apple in a bunch, but pretty much so. If you hear good activators and they're working lots of people in pileups, just by listening will help a lot. And you may only contact one person and get 4 contacts on your hunter's log because this is how we do it. Remember, the activator has to create a separate log for each park that they're in. And if there's 4 or 5 or 6 operators, each one of those operators are activators, and they too will be sending up a log. So bear with it, get used to it if you can. If there's issues, I apologize. But I think it's really something that our new people need to be aware of. You may hear 2 different voices and not realize it. You may see it on the spotting page, and I'm just going to use a couple that's quite frequently. He will spot, she will spot. They are in 2 parks. They will both spot. So it's going to show 2 different people in the same park. Don't be confused. We spot on the spotting page as activators to increase those who would like to make contact with us to know where we're at, frequency wise, band wise, and so forth. May God bless. I hope this doesn't confuse anybody. I hope it gives light to when you work a multiple ops contact or multiple parks contact that you do not necessarily have to have all the information, because if it wasn't for the activator uploading, you would get nothing. May God bless NC4XL, North Carolina, for extreme lovers. Oh, I'm not. Just Tom, the darling old man.